Over here to my left at Baja Rick's, if you come out and you hang out with us today, you can sign up to potentially win a lot of cool stuff today. We're going to be giving away some of the giveaways this week where we have the Padres belt bag from the 1998 Colors Padres belt bag. We got the scarf. We got a signed baseball that we're giving away as well. Once I figure out who that is, I will let you know. It's Nick Castellano. Yeah, Nick Castellano signed baseball today. Also got a Xander Bogaerts bobblehead. So come on down to Baja Rick's. We're nice. We're your little pregame before the pregame. Get you ready for opening day. So come on down, have an opportunity to win some signed memorabilia, some cool giveaways. Plus, I do have some Braden Surprenant Show shirts, too, that I might be able to hand out here in just a little bit. But, Frank, I know you're very busy right now. He's trying to get us all up and running on video and all that sort of fun stuff. But this is such a fun day for everybody out here on opening day. I mean, opening day is one of the best days in the United States. I mean, this should be a day in which, thank you very much, this should be a day in which we should almost have a national holiday. And by the way, everybody needs to be playing today. I don't know why everybody's not playing today. But let's set the scene a little bit. Again, we're live at Baja Rick's. It's opening day. And if you're a baseball fan, not just a casual fan, but someone who really feels this sport, you already know there's nothing like today. Not the playoffs, not some random summer night, not even October, because opening day is about hope. It's about possibility. It's about walking into a season where for at least one day, every single fan and every single fan base believes something special could happen. And for the San Diego Padres, that feeling, it just hits different. Let's go back a little bit. I mean, I have not been able to go to a lot of opening days growing up. I've been to most of opening days as an adult, as somebody working for the station. I've been blessed to be able to do it. But, you know, my first opening day, actual opening day, was actually 2019. 2019 was fun. I mean, the thing about 2019, and you'll never forget it, that was the day Fernando Tatis Jr. made his Major League debut. He hit 6 that day. Padres beat the Giants 2-0 here at Petco Park. And without anybody really fully realizing it, that was really a defining time for the Padres and a changing for the Padres. That was a time for the Padres that was switching into this new era of Padres baseball. We were watching the beginning of the new era of Padres baseball. You could feel it. The energy was different at Petco Park. The buzz was real, and it wasn't just another season. That was the start of something special here in San Diego. Before that, I've had my own opening day memories, most of them not really opening day, more like opening night. I remember when Seth Smith took Brian Wilson deep, 2-run homer against the Dodgers on opening night. Padres won, and for that special time in 2014, you're in first place for the first time in a very long time. That's opening day right there. That's what you get with opening day. Then there was that one hit that, you know, the one that even hits deeper for me is I was fortunate enough to go to the opening of Petco Park. I mean, that was I was there with my dad. It was opening night here at Petco Park. That was for the first time you got to walk into a brand new ballpark. You got to see Petco Park for the first time. And the other thing too with that was I remember the first pitch at Petco Park because you got to see all the camera lights, all the flashes that would go right when David Wells threw the first pitch to Ray Durham and what was a victory for the Padres. Padres beat the Giants that day 4-3. That was when San Diego baseball changed forever with the building of Petco Park in that first game. And that wasn't even the first time that they had a game. I was at the game before when San Diego State played Houston in college baseball. That's when Tony Gwynn got to manage at Petco Park. He got to be the first manager, really, at Petco Park, a guy that never got to play here. Mr. Padre never got to play at Petco Park, but he got to be the manager for the Aztecs. You know, that's what matters about opening day. That's what baseball does. It connects generations, tells stories that go beyond the box score. I mean, we talked about it the other day, Frank. I mean, head coach of the University of San Diego, Brock Ungrich, hit 5th in the lineup that day. He got the first, he had to remind me, he got the first single in Petco Park history. His teammate hit a double to get the first hit, but he got the first single in Petco Park history. But that's what opening day is. It's not just a game. It's not just 162 starting. It's the feeling. It's walking through that tunnel. It's seeing the light open. It's seeing that fresh cut grass. It's smelling spring, and it's getting you ready for an excitement of Padres baseball. But that's for every fan base right now. There's a lot of fan bases that are so geeked up for opening day. There's nothing like it. I love being able to come out here on opening day all the time. It's great to see the kids miss some school. to go to opening day. But overall, there's nothing like today, and I'm glad that we're here at Baja Rick's getting to enjoy it and be in the pregame into the real pregame show, the Equal Water SoCal pregame show with Sam Levitt. I mean, for me, I didn't get to go to a lot of opening days growing up, but there's something special about this day.
No, absolutely. And for me, there's a good amount special for it. Me and my grandfather, before I moved out here, we went to, I think it was 4 or 5 opening days in a row, starting in 2002 when the Mets got dog walked by the Cubs. It was 9-0 before we even got to our seat in the bottom of the first inning. But yeah, no, there is really nothing like today. Every single fan is hopeful for a great season. Everyone feels as though they could do it. They have a chance. A miracle can happen right now. It can't happen in September, but it can happen right now. It all begins today. It is the biggest day for any baseball fan is right here and right now. You
get to see the playoff energy like in every ballpark today. Yes. I mean, you're going to see around the entire country, everybody getting excited, everybody partying in the streets, getting ready for the first pitch of their 2026 MLB season. I mean, you go back to, there's been a lot of years, even for the Padres, right? Like there was a lot of years for the Padres that you were going into opening day and you were not expecting really a lot for the season. And then, 2010 happened. All of a sudden they win 90 games out of nowhere, yep. Right? So there's a lot of that with opening day. They didn't even win on opening day that year. So I'm excited for the season. There's a lot of different things that we got to get to here in the show. We only have a couple of hours to get through all of it, but how about the Padres last night? I mean, I'm driving home. I'm listening to Tony Gwynn Jr. and Matt Scraby on Gwynn and Chris. And when I come back home, when I'm driving home, I heard Tony go like, "Yeah, you're probably not going to get the opening day roster tonight." And I that was exactly my thoughts too. We have never seen that. Yeah. It's usually announced during Ben and Woods, or it's usually announced, during our show here at Baja Rick's. They sent that out last night.
Yeah.
You had the roster out last night, but I guess, why are you going to hold on to it? Because we knew about the roster for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say, we kind of predicted that roster over the last couple of weeks. So it was fun to get that early. And like I texted you last night, I'm like, we're the last one to announce an opening day starter. We're the first one to announce the roster. This Craig Stammen era is off to quite a start.
Yeah, and we even got the lineup already. I mean, the Padres were the last one to announce the opening day starter, first one to announce their 26-man roster. That wasn't, the Giants and the Yankees last night, which, by the way, I know we don't like the Dodgers. It's kind of nice watching the Giants get their ass kicked. That was thoroughly enjoyable. I know maybe not for you, but I don't really care about you and your Yankees hatred. Watching the Giants get their ass kicked was great last night.
I will accept a Yankee win with 4 Aaron Judge strikeouts. It got funnier and funnier each one that went by. It was so nice.
Well, did you see what the Giants did before the season? Like, they have the Giants have the flags of like the standings of the National League West. So of course the Giants put themselves at the top for the beginning of the season.
Of course.
They put the Dodgers and the Padres at the bottom. I see that as a sign of respect, but there's a couple of things that I feel disrespected on. I don't know why their flag is not brown and gold anymore. Like, it's still the old blue flag. I mean, come on, man. Like, let's fix the flag, okay? Even more incentive for me to root against the Gigantes. But that was great last night. It was good to get baseball back, but today is the day for the San Diego Padres. Now, there's not so – we're going to break down the roster in a little bit, but honestly, I don't think it's really the roster that's different. I think for me, it's the starting lineup today is very interesting and a lot to talk about with the lineup that has been put out by the Padres today. They got the lineup out early. They got the opening day roster out. As I look at the roster, we're going to talk about the lineup in just a second in our next segment. But when I look at the roster, again, not a lot of surprises with this roster. But how about a guy like, I'm fired up for Bradley Rodriguez making the team, right? I mean, there could have been a couple of spots there where, you play the numbers game a little bit with Bradley Rodriguez, and he's got options. So, maybe we can let him start in AAA. But I like the fact that Bradley makes the team. The other thing, too, we thought Marinaccio was going to make the team. I like that. And then the other thing that I like is, good for Kyle Hart making the team as a long relief guy. I mean, he was kind of on the fence a little bit, and I think that really solidifies exactly what we thought when he pitched on Monday of we need to see him pitch against a lot of major league hitters against the Mariners here before we put him on the roster.
Yeah, we more or less again expected the roster to come out, and we talked about it at the beginning of spring training. Is how many questions there are about this San Diego Padres roster, and how are you going to fit so many guys onto this team, and so many guys deserve to be on this team. But as we said, spring training kind of helps figure all of that stuff out and make it all work itself out on its own. And that's exactly what happened this year. We saw guys get hurt. We saw guys have poor spring trainings, guys that we all thought were going to be on this team or at least fighting for a spot. And some of the injuries, some of the question marks that we had about guys like Jason Adam, Yuki Matsui, them starting the year on the IL opened the door for these guys to be able to be standing out at Petco Park in 2.5 hours, 3 hours?
Yeah, we're going to be ready to go here in a little bit. I know AJ Preller's. Oh, wow, we got Santa Tequila here. Santa Tequila is sponsoring our day. We got Blue Moon, also a big sponsor today. Again, big shout out to everybody that's come out here to Baja Rick's. We're going to break down the lineup a little bit when we come back on the show. We're just getting started. We got a lot of giveaways to get to today as well. If you haven't done so already, come up, talk to our promo team, get you signed up. We cleared the hopper out, so if you signed up with Ben and Woods, your name's out of the hopper. You got to try to fill it out again. You can win some great prizes. Got a Xander Bogaerts bobblehead. We got the giveaway that they're going to do with the Padres scarf. We got the belt bag. We got a signed Nick Castellanos baseball as well. We got a lot of prizes to give away. We're going to have a great time here. There's specials at Baja Rick. So if you're heading down to the ballpark, what did Rod say? Where's my guy Rod? Rod said, don't be a rookie. Don't be a rookie on opening day. If you got opening day tickets, you got to be down here early. Come on down to Baja Rick's, hang out with us, fight. You don't want to fight the traffic. You don't want to get stuck, getting all mad about being in the waiting in line for parking and all that stuff. Get down here early, come hang out with us, and we'll get you ready for Padres baseball. We have the lineup, and I got to call Chris Ello out for something, and I'm going to call Chris Ello out when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, live from Baja Rick's on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Pap Oil here to help you get closer to Western One Sports. The madness returns. The best
San Diego
game
FC might have just got a reality check, and it came fast. After that incredible win over Toluca in the first leg, it looked like San Diego might make a serious run in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. But in Mexico, a completely different story. Toluca dominated San Diego 4-0, outshooting them 27-3, and ending their tournament run just like that. And the struggles didn't stop there. Back in MLS play, San Diego gave up another late lead in a 2-2 draw against Real Salt Lake. And that's now back-to-back games where they couldn't close it out. The offense is still there. The talent is obvious. But defensively, discipline, focus, and finishing games are becoming real concerns. For an expansion team, this is part of the process. But if San Diego wants to be a top club, these are the games they have to start winning. So now the question is this just a bump in the road or the start of a bigger problem? From a historic night to really a reality check, it's been a tough stretch for San Diego FC in this beginning part of the season. And the momentum from the dramatic Champions Cup win didn't carry over. In the CONCACAF Champions Cup, San Diego's run came to a hard stop with a 4-0 loss to Toluca in the second leg in Mexico. Despite winning the first leg 3-2, SDFC was overwhelmed. Toluca outshot them 27-3, dominating possession and control throughout the match. Goals from Jesus Ricardo Angulo, Paulinho, and Jesus Gallardo sealed the result, sending Toluca through on aggregate. For San Diego, it was a reminder of the gap that can still exist between the MLS side and the top Liga MX competition, especially on the road. So leg 2, Frank, a little bit more coming back down to earth.
Yeah, and this is what we more or less expected. We didn't expect them to get completely dominated, but as we were saying on the show last week, after this happened, this was Toluca making sure that they, one, did not make the same mistake that Pumas made from a couple of weeks prior by going into Mexico. They still won, but didn't win by enough to be able to advance, but also not making the mistake that they had made the week prior and losing to a San Diego FC side that was riding high on a lot of momentum and positive forward movement. Toluca really shut that down and shut that down quickly.
Back to the MLS side of things. So after that loss to Toluca, again, reset back to the normal schedule of the MLS. problems didn't really go away. San Diego settled for a 2-2 draw with Real Salt Lake, making their second straight draw and third consecutive match without a win. And once again, it was a late collapse.
Yeah, San Diego led 2-1 after a late goal from Anders Dreyer, but conceded in the 85th minute when Victor Olentunji found the equalizer, and things unraveled further from there. Defender Christopher McVeigh was sent off, leaving San Diego down a man, unable to push for the winner. And this now marks back-to-back games where San Diego FC has given up late goals, including a stoppage time equalizer in Dallas last weekend. So it has been very, very tough. We're seeing a lot of fouls being committed. We've had, 4 red cards in the last 3 matches for San Diego FC as well in all competitions. So it has been a very, very rough patch for San Diego FC after getting off to such a hot start that they did, not just in the league, but in CONCACAF as well.
Yeah, this week exposed something important. San Diego FC is exciting, but not yet complete. The attack continues to produce. Players like Dreyer, Marcus Invarksen are consistently creating chances, but defensively the cracks are showing. Late game focus is slipping. Discipline is becoming an issue. Multiple red cards in recent matches, as Frank was mentioning, and the team is struggling to close out games. And head coach Mike Ibarra said it best: if you want to be a top club, you have to handle the grind. And right now, San Diego is learning that lesson in real time.
Yeah, and it has truly been a grind. I mean, we brought it up a couple of updates ago. They're playing 5 games in 16 days, so they're playing a lot of football right now. But San Diego, you got to find a way to overcome that, because you're not the only one doing it. Every other team in the world has a stretch where they're playing a lot of games over a short amount of time, and they did. If you watch that game, especially towards the end, they look whooped against Real Salt Lake. They looked tired. They looked worn out. So that might be one of the bigger concerns, is that a team that you're not really used to seeing being gassed looked very gassed on Sunday.
Well, they've been playing 2 games a week for the last couple of weeks. So that's obviously a big reason why they are gassed. But now here's the good news. Looking ahead, a reset is coming. San Diego heads into the international break, sitting 4th in the Western Conference with 11 points, still very much in a strong position early in the season. And they don't play until a road match against the San Jose Earthquakes on April 4th. I mean, they got a little bit of time now to kind of relax a little bit. And
Broadcasting live from Baja Ricks, downtown San Diego. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Blue Moon. There's no better way to celebrate opening day than with a beer brewed with the Valencia orange peel. Grab a Blue Moon and ring in baseball season the right way. 2026 Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. Today's broadcast also brought to you by Santo Tequila. Guy spilled his tequila shot all over the place, man.
I didn't spill it. It was knocked over.
Who knocked it over?
I don't know, and I really don't care to find out. All I know is that it was knocked over.
It just fell over.
I don't drink, so it wasn't me.
I had the Santo Tequila. It's good. The Blanco was great. Santo Tequila, premium pours from Santo Tequila, additive free, unapologetically bold. Founded by Sammy Hagar and Guy Fieri. You know the Santo. Did you see the 60 Minutes on the Santo Tequila? They got robbed. They lost a truck full of Santo Tequila, and they had to get it back.
Oh gosh,
they ended up getting it back. Yeah, I mean, maybe this is one of the bottles that was stolen. You have no idea.
Oh, they got it back.
They should have put a bandana on there or something. They could have had some good. Come on, guy, let's go. Get me on the marketing team. Try to figure this out a little bit. We're broadcasting live from Baja Ricks. We usually broadcast live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. Now, if you're here at Baja Ricks, come by and say hi to Vanessa. Fill out a little sign-up sheet. We got a lot of cards in the hopper because we're giving away a lot of great stuff. The other thing that I forgot to mention, we are also giving away tickets to Monday's game.
Yes, we
you
are.
have an opportunity to win tickets to Monday's game if you come out to Baja Ricks, fill out a simple card with your information on it. And again, we pulled all the names out from Ben & Woods, so you got a really good chance if you haven't done it yet already. And if you did it for Ben & Woods and you're still here and you're like, I already filled out the card, well, you didn't, because we've cleaned them all out. We got a new group in there, so you got a pretty good chance of trying to win, of winning some prizes. Again, Nick Castellanos signed baseball. We got the belt bag, the Padres 1998 belt bag that's going to be a giveaway on Monday. We got the scarf that was a giveaway on Friday. We got a Xander Bogaerts bobblehead. And again, we're also giving away 2 tickets to the Padres game on Monday against the 0-1 San Francisco Giants. Last place, San Francisco Giants. I have to keep mentioning that. I don't like the Dodgers, but I've always disliked the Giants as well. And I think us Padres fans have let it easy on the Giants because Padres have owned the Giants the last handful of years. But you got to remember, they're going to be a lot better this year. We talked about it yesterday when we did our predictions. I think the Giants are going to be a little bit more hard to handle than the Diamondbacks. You got to remember your enemies, man. You don't let the Giants off the hook. Okay?
Well, you've also got that, and also the Diamondbacks still have a couple of key guys like Corbin Burns, Justin Martinez are still on the IL, so they're still going to be fighting to try to get guys healthy for a good part of this season so far.
Johnny in the YouTube chat wanted to know, didn't you break a bottle the last time too? What's going on,
No,
man?
I did not break. No, the last time we were here, I did not break a bottle. No, that was opening night for TCU.
That's right.
Was.
You know what? I think you ruined the season with that, with the breaking of the bottle. All right, let's talk about this. I want to talk about this roster a little bit, and then let's talk about the lineup. We already got the lineup today for the Padres, and if you're just tuning in, here's how Craig Stammen's rolling out his first ever lineup as manager of the San Diego Padres. And guess who's batting leadoff?
Jackson Merrill.
No, Jackson Merrill's not batting leadoff. Try again.
Wild year for Manny. Let's do it.
No, Manny's not batting leadoff.
Would it be Fernando?
Fernando Tatis Jr. is batting leadoff. Well, that's weird. That's strange. I thought he wasn't going to bat leadoff this year.
Who'd have thought, huh?
Who would have thought that he's batting leadoff? I was telling you, man, I got to call out Chris. I listened to Chris. Chris was telling me 2 weeks ago. He's like, if you think that Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to bat leadoff this year, I think you're crazy. I got beachfront property to sell you in Arizona. Well, guess what? Just because he didn't hit leadoff in spring training doesn't mean he's not going to hit leadoff one time during the regular season. How many times did he hit leadoff in spring training last year, Frank?
Just once, I think.
Once. How many times did he end up hitting leadoff last year?
Almost every darn day.
Almost every single day. Right. Fernando's going to hit leadoff a little bit. The cool thing about Craig Stammen, though, he already mentioned it. Now, I already know we're going to get phone calls like this because we've done it the last couple of years. When it comes to the lineup, here's what you always get. If they mix it up, everybody over the age of 55 is going to call and be like, how do they get any type of rhythm when they're batting in a different spot every day? They got to bat in the same spot every day. And guess what kind of phone calls we got last year? When they were batting in the same spot every day. We're not changing it up enough. Come on. I love talking about the lineup. Fernando's batting leadoff. He's playing right field. Batting second, Xander Bogaerts playing shortstop. This is what's interesting to me. Fernando apparently has said he doesn't like batting leadoff, according to some reports. He's batting leadoff. Xander Bogaerts, when he got picked up by the Padres from the Red Sox in free agency, talked about how bad he is at hitting number 2 in the order and how he doesn't like batting second in the order. Craig's like, you know what? We're going to throw it out there. You go out there and earn it today. Get out of your, you gotta get out of your comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah, it is something that's good to do, is get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So for those guys, if they are in fact not comfortable, we know Xander said it. He said it himself. If he's not comfortable with it, it's a good time to start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's a long, uncomfortable season.
Fernando's batting leadoff, playing right field. Xander Bogaerts playing shortstop, bats second. Manny Machado in the 3 spot, batting third. No surprise, 3 righties to take on Tarek Skubal in the first inning. Jackson Merrill will be the cleanup hitter. He is a left-handed hitter playing center field. Miguel Andujar getting the start as the designated hitter today, swinging from the right side. I think a lot of people, when talking about Miguel Andujar and the DH spot with Nick Castellanos, I think a lot of people thought Nick Castellanos was going to play today, but you brought Miguel Andujar in here to hit lefties.
Yes.
And you got 2 lefties to start the year. And guess what? Who raked against lefties in spring training? Miguel Andujar. Miguel Andujar was playing today. Now, the big question was who was going to play first base, and Miguel Andujar is going to DH against the left-hander. It's Gavin Sheets or it's Nick Castellanos. They're going with Gavin Sheets, the left-handed hitter, to play first base and bat behind Andujar in the order, and Nick Castellanos not getting a start on opening day.
Which I think is fair, because Castellanos, if you're going to have him play, you're going to have him play first base. And he's not as comfortable at first base. So you take the better defensive option, which would be to have Gavin Sheets out there who played a lot of it last year. So I understand that decision entirely.
How about Ramon Laureano batting 7th today?
How about that?
I mean, he raked last year. We argued during spring training that he could potentially bat cleanup. We wouldn't mind giving a shot at cleanup with the season he had last year. 7, 8, 9 in this order. I'm about to announce the other two. I mean, that's a way better 7, 8, 9 for the Padres today than it was a year ago today. Is it not?
Yeah, for sure.
Laureano, Freddie Fermin, Jake Cronenworth is your 7, 8, 9. That is, I'm telling you, that is 20 times better than what Yuli Gurriel. Are you kidding me? Martin Maldonado?
And that's something we talked about last year as well. Not even last year, last month, about Jake Cronenworth. Some people wanted him to hit at the top of the order, but you suggested, put him at the bottom of the order to flip the order around because he is a pest. So yeah, put him in ninth. It looks like a very, very good lineup so far to start the season.
I love Jake Cronenworth batting ninth. I was an advocate for Jake Cronenworth batting ninth the entire spring training, entire offseason, because all of the nods to have Jake Cronenworth bat leadoff, I think, work as a 9-hitter to flip it back to Fernando at the top of the order. You have Fernando start the game. He's going to get the most at-bats as the leadoff guy. He's going to have opportunities. And the biggest, pushback from fans on that conversation was, well, somebody's got to get on in front of him. Well, why don't you put Jake Cronenworth 9?
Yeah.
Jake's going to work at that bat. Jake's going to be probably the most pesky 9-hitter that you're going to see in Major League Baseball. I mean, you could do a lot worse than Jake Cronenworth batting ninth. And for the Padres, that's great to see a guy flip the order. And again, he's a lefty, right? So against Tarek Skubal, have him bat ninth, see if he can work the count. I mean, I'm telling you right now, Jake Cronenworth's got a good on-base percentage. He's going to work counts. He's got to get himself on base. And guess who's coming up next? Fernando. Mm-hmm. So you're still kind of getting the same thing. So you get Jake to be your second leadoff guy batting ninth. And then you have your best player on your team getting the most at-bats that he possibly can batting leadoff, followed by Bogarts and Machado. I mean, that's a pretty good top of the order right there for the San Diego Padres on the backside flipping to the top. I like this order today. I'm a little surprised that Gavin Sheets got the nod over Nick Castellanos at first base, but I do agree with you, Frank. I think the reasoning there is we want to be a little bit more solidified at first base in terms of defense in the first inning. Maybe it's too much to have Castellanos start there on opening day. I'm curious to see if Castellanos plays tomorrow. Like today, opening day lineup, there's a lot of different things, but I think it would be more glaring of an issue. Not really an issue, but I think it would be more telling if Castellanos is not in the starting lineup tomorrow.
It would certainly be more telling of what the Padres want to do and what they're thinking about doing with their lineups. If they are going to go very lefty heavy, I would not be surprised if that also hinges on how good Gavin Sheets does today, because if Sheets hits, I don't see him not being in the lineup tomorrow against another lefty. So if he doesn't hit, then maybe you throw Nick Castellanos out there, give him a day at first base, and then see how it works out from there. So I think a lot of that has to do with, one, the mentality and how Craig Stammen wants to attack this season, use his lineups, attack lefty pitching, and also performance on the field with one guy in particular, and that one guy being Gavin Sheets.
I like the lineup today. I think it's an interesting lineup, but again, you can't evaluate just one day for Craig Stammen in his lineup. He said He's going to mix it around. We're going to see it move around a handful of times. I mean, that's what he said. And until he does it, it's going to be a little bit different, right? But I think tomorrow is more of a telling sign about what this team is going to be. And you're going to see it with the first couple of lineups of the season. And I think at the same time, I think Craig's going to go through this and start. It's going to be a little bit of a working process, right, with some of these guys. And here's the other thing, too. I would not be shocked if guys like Ty France, right, get a start coming up soon. I mean, Bryce Johnson probably needs a start at the beginning part of the year, because you're in an extended tryout session with France and with Johnson because of Sung Moon Song eventually being able to come back, and you got to give him a fair shake and you got to let him go out there and play. But, at the same time, you got to try to win ball games. So Ty France might only be able to display what he could do for this team in a pinch hit role. But I will say this, if they could get Skubal out of the game as quickly as possible. Now Tarek Skubal, it's first start, right? I mean, everybody's still ramping up. Okay, I would imagine you're probably going to go 75 to maybe 90 pitches. I think maybe rarely you're going to get to 100 pitches on an opening day for your starting pitcher. That's Pivetta too. But the Tigers pitching, great in the starting rotation. Their bullpen, it's not as good as the Padres. Well, there's not a lot of bullpens as good as the Padres, but it's not a very good bullpen compared to a lot of other teams in baseball. So the next couple of days, you're taking on 3 really good starters, 2 lefties in Tarek Skubal and Framber Valdez, and then you got Jack Flaherty on Saturday. You got to get those guys out of the game as quickly as possible. But I could see Nick Castellanos pinch hitting and pulling what Gavin Sheets did last year on opening day.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I could see that for sure. I would not be surprised if you see a couple of guys moving around and being very fluid and trying to figure out how to best work these guys, especially early in the season. As you said, it is an extended tryout period, not just for Bryce Johnson and for Ty France, but also what you're going to be seeing next series too with Walker Buehler and with Herman Marquez. That's going to be an extended tryout period for them too, with Joe Musgrove and Griffin Canning starting on the IL. So there's going to be a lot of moving. There's going to be a lot of unrest and unsettling in the first month of the season while they still try to figure out how this roster is going to look going forward to the next benchmark, which would be the trade deadline. And then after that, seeing what they're going to be doing then.
I mean, opening day last year for 7-8-9 was Cronenworth, Lockridge, and Diaz. This is a way drastic 7-8-9, and this is why I continued to say during spring training, the Padres are in a way better position at this time of the year now than they were a year ago at this time of the year, just on those additions. I mean, and then you look at remember the bench? I mean, the bench was just such a massive fall off from last year compared to the starters, and this year it's not a huge fall off. No. I mean, say what you want about Luis Camposano and where he's at, but he's there to be the backup catcher. I still think he's a better backup catcher in terms of what he could bring to the table than a Martin Maldonado, Elias Diaz situation. Then you look at the other players too. Like Bryce Johnson did very well for the Padres last year when they picked him up a little bit later in the season. He's better than Jason Hayward, right? I mean, that's another. And right now, going into today, you have Ty France and Nick Castellanos that can pinch hit for you late in the game. Because those are 2 guys that are not in the starting lineup. And I'm telling you right now, those are bats that you actually want to see as a pinch hitter late in the game over, I guess we got to pinch hit Martin Maldonado because we don't have anything else. Or I guess Bryce Johnson's got to be the guy to pinch hit to try to get a big power bat, which he's not. That's not what he is. So it's a lot of interesting storylines with this. Sam Levitt's out in Petco Park, and he's getting a lot of great sound for us. We're going to hear from Craig Stammen on the Padres lineup that he put together. We're going to talk about that. And we had a lot of news yesterday in Padres land. A lot of stuff coming off the board. We'll tell you what's going on with you, Darvish. We'll also talk about a mystery candidate that might buy the Padres and what we know about him when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Ben and Woods on the Fan.
Said I just can't stop watching Woodsy just chomping on a pen for 3 straight minutes.
It's just what I do. We are
the San Diego Churros baseball team might finally be showing some signs of life, but the big question is whether they can finish games. USD snapped a brutal 10-game losing streak with a big conference opening win over Gonzaga, scoring 6 runs early and riding a strong start from Diego Gutierrez. But after that, 2 straight games slipped away late. On Saturday, the Toreros led 5-2 before giving up a 9th-inning homer and losing 7-5. Then Sunday, they rallied to take the lead in the 7th, only to give up another 3-run homer in the 8th and fall 11-6. So here's the story right now. The Toreros are competitive. They're scoring early and getting big performances from guys like Andrew Gana and CJ Moran, but they're struggling to close games. If USD can figure out those late innings, this team could still be dangerous in the West Coast Conference. But if not, they risk becoming a team that's always close but never quite finishes the job. This was a weekend that was a roller coaster weekend for the San Diego baseball team over there in Linda Vista. As the Toreros opened up West Coast Conference play, playing against Gonzaga at Fowler Park. USD ended the series on a 10-game losing streak, albeit against a lot of good teams in college baseball. And they showed life on Friday. They won 7-6, but they were up 7-2 going into the last inning. And they gave up 4 runs to the top of the 9th inning. And with the jumping out to good starts, Frank, the bullpen's got to be able to find a way to throw up zeros. And this weekend, USD scored first in every single game, yet they only get 1 win out of it because every time they came back, they were giving up massive crooked numbers on the board.
Yeah, and this is also what we're talking about here. Andrew Ghana led the way with 3 for 4 night, contributing to a hot stretch where he's hitting over 500 during his current streak. CJ Moran added a towering home run, and on the mound, Diego Gutierrez, as you mentioned before, 5 scoreless innings and 6 strikeouts. Unfortunately, they let it slip at the end, and that looked like it fell. It looked like it fell into the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, they let it slip in that game, but they still were able to win game 1, 7-6. But it was 4 runs for Gonzaga in the top half of the 9th inning. And then on Saturday night, they built a 5-2 lead, only to see Gonzaga come back late and steal a 7-5 victory, including a 3-run homer in the 9th, hit by the same guy. Ryder Young had 2 3-run homers in back-to-back games in the 9th inning. One of them wasn't enough to win the game. The second one was. And then on Sunday, the Toreros nearly flipped the script. They scored first, and then Gonzaga went up 5-1. And then in the 7th inning, it was the Toreros that came back to take a 6-5 lead. But then in the 8th, they gave up another 4 spot. Gonzaga responded with a 3-run homer in the 8th inning out of their number 8 hitter in the order. And then they added 2 more runs in the top of the 9th to take an 11-6 win and then take the series. So this is important because Toreros baseball right now is competitive, but they're struggling to finish games, and they were picked to win the conference. Gonzaga was picked second, and now you have to be behind the 8 ball, and you don't win the head-to-head when it comes to the series because you lost to them 2 out of 3 at home, which has seeding implications for the West Coast Conference tournament.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately that just leads down your fighting from underneath again, as we've talked about so much with these San Diego universities. You're fighting from behind, trying to catch up, and right now it sounds like a bullpen that is playing with absolutely zero confidence in themselves and in their ability to execute right now. The starting pitching's been fine, offense has been looking good. It's just that bullpen has not been helpful.
Let's get to softball, ending non-conference with some momentum for USD softball. The Toreros softball team wrapped up non-conference play against the Sacramento State Hornets. It was a mixed weekend. USD dropped both games on Saturday's doubleheader 5-1 and 3-1, struggling to generate offense with just 2 hits in each game. But Sunday brought a different story. The Toreros rallied in extra innings for a 3-2 win, scoring 2 clutch runs in the 8th. Kaylee O had a huge game, going 3 for 4. Shanice Hogue-Lacey and Haley Mulligan delivered the clutch RBI doubles in the 8th. Kelsey Tadlock shut the door on the mound to secure the win. USD finishes non-conference play 13-16 and now turns its focus to West Coast Conference play, beginning a road series against the Oregon State Beavers.
Yeah, solid way. And once again, as we talked about with the Aztecs, baseball team being able to not get swept and being able to claw out that final game of the series, huge win and a great way to gain momentum going into the series against Oregon State. And
just a recap for baseball, again, the reality is USD showing flashes of a very good team, scoring early, running aggressively on the base pass. Players like Ghana and Moran are swinging hot bats, but the problem right now, late game execution. 2 straight games this weekend slipped away in the 8th and 9th innings, and that's the difference between a conference contender and a 500 team. And the big question moving forward is whether this group can turn competitive games into wins, because if they can start finding games late and finishing games late, this Toreros team could still make some noise in the West Coast Conference and hopefully punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament.
Braden Surprenant Show live at Baja Rick's downtown San Diego. Get ready for opening day. Good crowd on hand today. Big sponsor, Blue Moon. Today's coverage brought to you by Blue Moon. There's no better way to celebrate opening day than with a beer brewed with Valencia orange peel. Grab a Blue Moon and ring in the baseball season the right way. 2026 Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. We're also sponsored today by Santo Tequila. Premium pours from Santo Tequila. Additive-free, unapologetically bold. Founded by Sammy Hagar and Guy Fieri. Frank's already had his tequila knocked over. But I had the Blanco. It was good. It's good stuff. I know. The gremlins got to your tequila, dude. You could have given that away to somebody. Actually, I don't know if you're allowed to do that or not.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to attempt. I was going to give it to you, but it got knocked over before I was.
We do have to go to the press box at some point today.
Well,
and
true.
With the tequila spilled all over your stuff, I don't know if they're going to let you in. They're going to be like,
No, who's here with the promotions crew?
Vanessa?
But yeah, she was very, very kind, and she actually went in the bathroom here and washed my mouse pad off. So that was very, very kind of her. Thank you.
Nice. All right, so today, if you come out down to Baja Rick's, if you haven't done so already, you're just showing up. We got a lot of giveaways. We're going to start giving away some stuff during the next break. You need to fill out one of the forms with us and our promo staff over here. Come say hi to Vanessa. She'll get you all set up, throw it in the hopper. During the break, we'll start announcing winners. We got the belt bag, the Padres belt bag that they're doing a giveaway for. We got the Padres scarf. We got a Nick Castellanos signed baseball. We got a Xander Bogaerts bobblehead. And we got tickets to Padres and Giants on Monday. That will be the final giveaway that we do today. You have to be present to win. You have to fill out a form when you show up. Otherwise, you cannot win. But we're giving away a lot of cool stuff today down here at Baja Rick's. They got a lot of great specials today as well. It's a great breakfast down here at Baja Rick's. I enjoy it. We got a lot of great food here. Baja Rick. I saw Baja Rick hanging out with our Rick.
Yes.
Just a couple of Ricks, man, having breakfast. It was a good time.
Yeah, no, fun time to be. It's still packed here too. By the way, we didn't lose mostly anyone from the morning show too, so that's been fun.
It's been great. It's packed house. We're getting ready for Padres baseball, as it will be Nick Pivetta and Tarek Skubal today. We went through the lineup. Now, I do want to say, before we get to anything else on the docket, and again, we had a lot of news yesterday about the San Diego Padres that came out. We do want to hear from Craig Stammen, though, a little bit.
Yes.
And are we ready to go back behind the scenes with Kyle back there? Kyle's decked out. We don't get to see Kyle on the.
Kyle's rolling.
Kyle's
today.
got the Padres lid on back in studio. He's got the jersey. Nobody's more excited for Padres baseball than Kyle right now.
Let's pop
back
him
in
up,
studio.
You're
gonna throw him on the
why not?
The YouTube stream reel right now just to see our guy Kyle. There's Kyle.
There's
What's up, Kyle? Yeah, Kyle's fired up.
Guys? We're ready.
Good to see you, Kyle. All right, we're gonna get to Craig Stammen here. Craig, we wanted to talk about the lineup. We just talked about the lineup. Fernando batting leadoff. Nick Castellanos isn't in it, and Jake Cronenworth's batting ninth. Those were my biggest takeaways out of the lineup today. Oh, yeah, of course, Gavin Sheets getting a start against a left-hander. But what did Craig Stammen say today before the game, talking about opening day, but also talking about this lineup card that he put out? Here's Craig Stammen.
What are your expectations for your first opening day as manager officially?
Well, I expect us to win, that's why we're showing up to play. It's going to be an exciting day. Opening days, first day of school, first day of anything. Baseball season starting. We're all excited about that.
I know you said yesterday you were toying around with some different lineups. How did you come to the decision that you did?
It's pretty easy with the players that we have to put them in the lineup and then decide where they're going to bat. So as you can see, our best players are batting at the top and our really good players are right behind them.
With Tatis at the top and Cronenworth's 9 against the lefty, do you view that as like a kind of second leadoff man, a table setter, even though he's batting 9?
I just think it's someone that can get on base down at the bottom of the lineup and then have somebody on base when Toddy comes to the plate. Fermin's down there also. Like those two guys had the best spring training. So, and they're batting 8th and 9th in our lineup. So we got a deep lineup and excited to see how they show out today.
How much does that help? Like we talked a lot about where Tatis would hit and whether he needed guys in front of him. How much does the depth of your lineup and having those guys at 8 and 9 make him hitting one maybe a little different?
Yeah, it does make it a little bit different. He's a dynamic player. We want him to be in situations where he can impact the game. And I think with the lineup the way it is, hopefully that, is is what happens. You know, and like I said, just because this is the lineup on opening day doesn't mean it's going to be for 162. We're going to switch it up as we go.
You've been through a lot of opening days, the first one in this capacity. Did you find yourself maybe reverting to some older habits to prepare to come to the ballpark today, or are you doing something a little bit differently?
Well, I showed up way earlier than what I would have as a player, but it's exciting nonetheless. In the way, I feel less nervous because I don't have to go out perform. You know, my skills aren't on display, but in the way, I'm probably a little bit more nervous, you know, just because there's decisions that have to be made during the game, but that are, you know, decisions that you don't know are coming. But either way, excited, you know, just to get out here and play a real game.
It is exciting to get out there and play. I'm sure he's extra nervous. I'm sure he's more nervous today as the manager than he ever was as a relief pitcher.
I'm sure, yeah, because this is something that's completely new to him, completely foreign to him. So I would not be surprised if this is one of those times where he's like, geez, you know, we got to hunker down here. We got to be paying attention, and we got to make all the right decisions, not just not just when we're on the mound, but for everyone throughout the entirety of this game. So it's a big, big day for him getting to manage in his first major league game.
I think so too. And here's the other thing. I agree with his sentiment on Fernando batting leadoff. It's drastically different when 7, 8, 9 are guys that can get on base and guys that can hit.
Absolutely.
Your 7 hitter today is Ramon Laureano. Ramon Laureano was an all-star last year. Ramon Laureano is one of your better hitters from a year ago. Ramon Laureano is a guy that if you had him in Chicago, you're probably advancing in the postseason. Ramon Laureano. He's batting 7th. And then your 8 hitter, Freddie Fermin, that guy is a catcher that can rake, but also Freddie Fermin, by the way, did you know he's got the best numbers against Tarek Skubal out of anybody on the Padres right now?
Sure.
These guys 3 for 4 against Tarek Skubal lifetime. That's a great spot to have as number 8. And then you have number 9 in Jake Cronenworth, and we've talked about this multiple times about Jake. If Jake Cronenworth's your 7, 8, 9 or 7, 8, or 9 hitter, you're a playoff team because that's where he's going to be on a playoff roster.
Yeah, for sure.
And now he's batting 9th. So really utilizing that on-base percentage that Jake Cronenworth has, you have table setters for Fernando, and Fernando is also batting leadoff. You get the best of both worlds with this kind of lineup, and this is the type of depth we talked about. This is why I think this team is in a better position this year than they were last year. This is the conversations we've been having throughout the entire spring. The conversations have been about, well, yes, I know these are somewhat reclamation projects, some of these players. Yes, I know Ty France couldn't really find a place to stay at. Yes, I know Walker Buehler is a guy that isn't the same pitcher he used to be. Yes, I know Armand Marquez is coming off of injury. Yes, I know the Phillies are paying Nick Castellanos to play against them. Yes, I know all of those things. But they're not 40 years old.
Exactly.
They're in their young 30s still. I'll say young 30s to make you feel better about yourself there. And I don't get all upset about that. But they are all 33 years or younger.
Yes.
And that's the difference between the previous teams and this year's team. They still got a lot of talent. They still got a lot left in the tank. And they got a chip on their shoulder of, not only do I deserve to play on this team, but I deserve to play in Major League Baseball. I deserve to get reps in Major League Baseball. I deserve to continue my career in Major League Baseball. And that's the type of chip that might work out with some of these players to make you have a team that's better than what Fangraphs says.
And they have a budding superstar in Jackson Merrill, who is going to be one of those guys who you're going to look at this year to really be taking that next step to trying to really take a hold of this team the way that you expect him to and the way that you hope for him to. He stalled out a little bit last year because he had such an up and down year with injuries. So he's another guy you're going to be really watching this year to try to see what he can do to the best of his ability.
We have one game underway. I already know you know the score because
Paul Skeens is getting rocked a little bit.
Well, Logan Webb got rocked yesterday, you know.
Paul Skeens is out.
They took Paul Skeens out of the game already?
He's out of the game. Bottom of the first, 2 outs, 37 pitches, and the Mets have gotten Paul Skeens out of the game.
Wow. Sorry, you're kind of overmodulating
No, you're
there
fine.
for a
You're
second.
fine.
You got too excited there. This is Paul Skeen's line today for Pittsburgh. Everybody's like, oh, Pittsburgh's going to be back. Pittsburgh's going to be a lot better. Oh, the Pirates are going to be great. Well, your best player, Paul Skeen's out in the 2/3 of an inning on the road. Paul Skeen's line today, 2/3 of an inning, 5 earned runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. It's tough to start your season with a 67.5 ERA, 67.5 ERA.
Yeah, the Mets were down. Lowe hit a 2-run homer as the second batter of the game. And then it's just been relentless. Walks, hits. The Mets have been rolling so far here in the first inning. Also got helped out with a sunball error out in center field. So it's 5-2. New York right now is the only other game that's going on.
It just started. They're in the bottom of the first.
Yeah,
the first inning's
still.
not even over. Paul Skeens didn't even make it to the first inning. Gives up 5 runs after the Pirates put up 2 runs in the top half of the first. I mean, a lot of the aces right now are getting tagged. I mean, because he's going against Freddie Peralta today.
Yep, Freddie Peralta.
Yeah, Peralta gave up 2 runs in the first inning.
He gave up a base hit and then a 2-run homer.
And then you look at Logan Webb last night, gave up 5 in the second.
Is it too late for me to change him as the as my Cy Young pick?
That was not a great start for your campaign. Not only did you pick Logan Webb, but it's insult to injury because you also dislike the Yankees, and so the Yankees already made you look not great with the Logan Webb pick as the NL West Cy Young Award winner.
Like I said, the 4 strikeout game from Aaron Judge is completely offsets it. And I saw somebody in the YouTube chat earlier today saying the Aaron Judge hate is ridiculous. I am a Met fan from New York, born and raised to hate the New York Yankees. And Aaron Judge, for as good as he is, I'll give him that. He is a good player. He's a generational player.
I don't think you're convincing a lot of people right now.
But with that said, I enjoy seeing him in pure misery.
I've never seen anybody hate watch a team more than Frank hate watches the New York Yankees. It's really remarkable. I will say this too about the so far we've had 2 games start in Major League Baseball.
Yes.
We had Logan Webb get absolutely tagged by the New York Yankees. Mm-hmm. Freddie Peralta's already given up 2 runs in the first inning, who's an ace, right? And Paul Skeens has just gotten tagged and didn't even make it out of the first inning. Padres going to jump on Tarek Skubal here in the first?
They just showed that Paul Skeens gave up 5 runs. He's on the hook for, there's a wild pitch. So runners
no disseminating. Runners on second and third.
Runners on second and third now, but they just showed that Paul Skeens has given up 5 runs. He's on the hook for 7. That is tied for the most that he has ever given up in an outing, and he did that in 2/3 of an inning on opening day. Mets have batted around.
I tell you what, if Tarek Skubal gets lit up, you know what the narrative on Monday is going to be? Told you should have never had any of these guys pitch in the WBC.
Yeah,
That's exactly what the narrative.
Yep.
This is why we can't have the WBC. Look at Skeens got rocked. Logan Webb got rocked. Hey, man, maybe that's bad news for the WBC crowd out there. Yeah. All the Team USA pitchers not doing well in their first start. I tell you what, maybe Nick Pavetta's got to go out there and shine since he didn't pitch for Team Canada.
Maybe it was all that excitement that they had during the World Baseball Classic.
Now it's a letdown on opening day.
Maybe they came down for opening day.
Oh, man. Well, that's a battle right now. And 5-2 in the first is crazy. We're going to be in for some great baseball. Now, in the next hour, our last hour of the show, because we got Padres baseball coming up at 1, the Ecowater SoCal Padres pregame show at 12:10. We got a lot of stuff to give away. As we go to break, the people here at Baja Ricks, we're going to start naming some names for some giveaways. So we're going to get to that. We'll talk about the new potential owner for the Padres when we come back as well.
Hey, it's Ben and Woods, and we're
Broadcasting live from not the Bill House Studios. We're here at Baja Rick's, but we usually broadcast live from the Bill House Studios. We know how of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We are the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We're here live at Baja Rick's, getting you ready for Padres baseball today. We've talked about the lineup a little bit, talked about the roster. We're going to dive into some of the other news that we got from the Padres yesterday. But, Frank, got to love the fact your New York Mets are able to knock Paul Skeens out of the game pretty early, huh?
They are, and this is statistically speaking, they are the best opening day team in baseball. I think in the last, I think it's since like 1965, I think, they've only lost like 12 opening day games. So this is their day. The Mets always start 1-0. And then it's downhill from there.
We got to wait till 12:05 today to figure out if we're going to get our guy O'Neill getting a home run.
Oh, yes.
Get our guy O'Neill. Tyler O'Neill. Tyler O'Neill, to anybody that doesn't know driving around, Tyler O'Neill is homered on opening day in 6 consecutive years. He's trying to do that again today for the Baltimore Orioles. They host the Minnesota Twins at 12:05 Pacific time, and he's going against Joe Ryan as the starting pitcher of the Twins, who he's already homered against in his career. So things are lining up for Tyler O'Neill to potentially do it. I don't know if anybody's got money on that today. That might be worth a bet, maybe not, but that's going to be something interesting to watch today on opening day. We got a lot of different things to watch on opening day. Should be a fun day today out at the ballpark. Great to see all the Padres fans out here again. We're at Baja Rick's. Our show today is presented by Blue Moon. There's no better way to celebrate opening day than with a beer brewed with Valencia orange peel. Grab a Blue Moon and ring in the baseball season the right way. 2026 Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. All right, here's the deal. We had Gwynn and Chris got, or should I say Scraby and Gwynn yesterday on Gwynn and Chris got all the best news. Yes. Just dropped at their feet. They had the opening day roster get announced. That never happens.
They had their opening day pregame show.
Yeah, they got their opening day pregame show. They had the roster get announced. The only thing that they didn't get was the lineup, but they also had the information on Yu Darvish. So here's the situation with Yu Darvish. We talked about some of the stuff as the reports came in from the offseason about Yu Darvish and him not being able to pitch this year, but he was going to try to take some type of pay cut, maybe renegotiate his contract. I mean, there was a lot of different things to try to, with Yu Darvish, with how he was going to fit onto this roster. He didn't want to retire. It didn't sound like he was going to retire yet. We had those reports, right, throughout the offseason. So it was all going to come down to before opening day, they were going to figure out exactly what they were going to do with Yu Darvish and what Yu Darvish wanted to do, which I think Yu has earned his right to be able to kind of dictate how that goes with what he has done for this organization. So he is actually getting put on the restricted list, which is kind of like the last time he was involved with the last time he had, a personal matter, if you will. So not a lot of players get put on the restricted list. Usually you're put on the restricted list against your will because that means you do not get paid. And so he's not part of the team, right? He can't can't show up to the facilities, all that stuff. So, and that's usually resulted as some type of punishment or waiting for an investigation. He has voluntarily put himself on the restricted list, Major League Baseball, granted for the Padres. So Yu Darvish still technically part of the organization. There's a couple of things that he's not allowed to do, but the Padres are not paying him while he's on the restricted list. So that's $16 million that he is owed this year is not currently not paid as long as he is on the restricted list. So that does save the Padres some money, but as reported by Kevin Acee, because we saw a couple of different reports yesterday, Alden Gonzalez of ESPN said this could potentially free up some money for the Padres to sign Lucas Giolito as an insurance policy. But Kevin Acee had mentioned on the updated report that the Padres already accounted for Yu Darvish's money not being on the books, and it sounds like they might have already spent that $15 million as part of their offseason.
Yeah, correct. And we saw that with some of the guys that they signed later. You saw them spending money later in the offseason. So it sounds like that this was the plan that they had. They knew that they were going to have this money freed up. And I think if they were going to get a guy like Lucas Giolito, they probably would have done it already. So they're going to stick with what they have right now. They've looked good with what they have. Marco Gonzalez down in the minor leagues. Now Tristan McKenzie down in the minor leagues as well. Matt Waldron, when he's ready to come up, if he's needed, will certainly be a big boost. But yeah, it sounds like that it looks like, based off of their actions over the last couple of weeks, that money is already come and gone.
Yeah, they've already kind of spent it. But at the same time, though, too, like AJ Preller always likes to have a little bit extra spending money and some resources around the trade deadline so he can fix a lot of the different spots that might need to be fixed when we get to that point. But I think a lot of that is on the first month of the season for the Padres and how some of these guys play, because a lot of the competition we talked about in spring, they have kind of punted it down the road a little. They kicked the can down the road about a month to see and get extended spring training on some guys just because we're really extended tryout. They're not an extended spring training, which is something else. But they get an extended tryout for this team. Mm-hmm. And so when you get the extended tryout, let's see if Ty France can play in this month to stay on this team when Sungwoo Song comes back. We'll see if Walker Buehler and Herman Marquez can pitch to a level that can keep them on the team when Joe Musgrove eventually comes back, which might not be until after May, around May, maybe after that. Griffin Canning needs a spot back when he comes on the team. So a couple of different extended tryouts for the Padres in this first month or so. But I will say this too, like, while also putting Yu Darvish on the restricted list, that freed up a roster spot for the Padres to use on the 40-man roster where they didn't have to cut somebody.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all about managing resources at this point, and that's exactly what the Padres have done to the best of their ability, keeping as many of these guys around as they possibly could while also getting the guys on the team that they need to be on the team. So it has definitely been a successful offseason. Like I said, it was 4 long months of an offseason and even longer month of spring training to get to this point. And I think it's been very, very successful for the San Diego Padres leading into opening day today.
I think so too. And we talked about this a couple of times already. I think spring training for the Padres this year achieved everything that they wanted it to achieve with competition. I think they got the bullpen that they wanted on the competition. Now, a couple of things worked their way in terms of injuries and what have you, but that was definitely something that made the bullpen legit, right? So, I mean, you look at the bullpen right now, it's great. I mean, Kyle Hart's going to be your long relief guy. He makes the team. Ron Marinaccio, like we talked about, we thought he was going to make this team from the beginning because he was out of options. I think he earned a spot on this team when it comes to how he pitched in the WBC. I think Ron Marinaccio pitching in the WBC gave him a little bit of an edge because he was going against some pretty good competition when he was pitching for Team Italy.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw that. Alec Jacob also had the same ability, but unfortunately did not produce at the way that he needed to in order to get on and stay on this roster. So Ron Marinaccio definitely had that benefit of being able to do that, and he was the one that took advantage of it better than anyone else was able to.
I look at this roster, and we could talk about the bullpen. I mean, we talked about it yesterday with Adrian Morejon. I mean, I spent a long time on it, but, I didn't really get your take. I think I think we're in agreement on the best asset of this team is the bullpen.
100%.
I mean, you could say what you want about what the Brewers have in a bullpen. I think the Padres bullpen is way better. I mean, we'll see, I guess, as the season goes on, how that's going to work out. And, they got the best closer in baseball in Mason Miller. They got a lot of good fireball arms, but they got a left-hander that could throw 101 miles an hour coming out of that bullpen. And he is the guy that can pitch in any situation. And to me, like, Tanner Scott has not been that guy for L.A., but I felt like when the Padres brought Tanner Scott in, that was the guy that was going to do damage against a lot of players, that especially lefties, in certain situations for the Padres. And what happened in the playoffs and what happened late in the season when Shohei Ohtani came up late in the game? Who was coming in?
Tanner Scott.
It was Tanner Scott, that left-hander. So when you have your division, and then it's got in the Los Angeles Dodgers, and a lot of their big hitters are lefties, right? You got Freddie Freeman you got to deal with, who's a lefty. Shohei Ohtani's a lefty. You got to have that guy in the bullpen that's going to be able to get those guys out. And Adrian Morejon is that guy, but he can also get you out of a lot of jams. He doesn't really have an everyday role in the bullpen. He's not guaranteed to be the 8th inning guy. Now, I think right now with Jason Adam being on the injured list, he's your setup man. But with his versatility, he's the most important piece in this bullpen for the Padres in what is their best asset.
Yeah, 100%, because he can be that guy who sets up and leads into another fireballer in Mason Miller, or you can have Morahone come in a little bit earlier. You could split up that speed. You can have guys speed up for Adrian Morahone and then slow back down for somebody else before you have to ramp them right back up again for Mason Miller. So he is a very versatile and a very key piece for this guy. And again, the biggest thing I think is he can throw 100. He can throw 101. He's not a quote unquote lefty specialist. He's not a guy who's unable to get right-handed hitters out. He's not the guy that you're only going to see pitching against left-handed pitchers, against left-handed hitters. He can get anyone out at any one given time.
Yeah, I think he's a big asset for this team. And here's the thing with the game today between the Padres and the Tigers, and we talked about it already. You got to get Tarek Skubal out of the game as quickly as possible. And right now, Major League Baseball teams are tagging some aces around Major League Baseball. Now, we've only had one game completed last night, and we've only had one game get started with the Mets and the Pirates. But anybody just tuning in that doesn't know what's going on in baseball, Paul Skeens goes 2/3 of an inning, got absolutely shelled today. Gave up 5 runs.
5 runs, 4 hits.
5 runs, 4 hits. Didn't even make it through the first inning. So the Mets up 5-2 right now in the top of the 3rd inning, and he thought maybe the Mets were going to have some bad luck. Freddie Peralta got hit around a little bit, too. He gave up 2 runs. Top half of the first, and then the Mets answered with 5 in the bottom half and knocked Skeens out of the game. So Skeens got tagged today. Logan Webb got tagged yesterday. I'm just saying, if you get Tarek Skubal off the hill as quickly as possible, you can win the game against the bullpen, because the Padres bullpen is definitely better than the Detroit Tigers bullpen. And I like the Padres lineup a little bit more than the Tigers lineup as well. But we'll talk more about that a little bit later on in the show. For everybody here at Baja Ricks, we're going to be doing another giveaway here as we go to break. We're giving away a Xander Bogaerts bobblehead. We also have a Nick Castellanos signed baseball we got to give away at some point today. We got 2 tickets to Padres and Giants on Monday. We're also giving away, but you have to sign up with our promo staff. Put your name in the hopper. If you did it with Ben and Woods and you're cruising back over, your name's not in the hopper anymore, and you got to be present to win. We're going to do that when we go to break. Plus, we did get some information about a mystery bidder on the Padres. We'll talk about that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station 97.3 The Fan.
San Diego State women's basketball is doing something special right now, and if you're not paying attention, you should be. They just won back-to-back postseason games. They're 27-5. They're tied for the most wins in program history, and they're doing it with elite defense and clutch execution. They beat UC Irvine in a game with 12 lead changes, closed out an 8-0 run, then turned around and dominated McNeese, holding them to just 27% shooting. Oh, and here's the craziest part. They're 25 for 25 for the free throw line in the postseason. Perfect. That's discipline. It's composure. That's winning basketball. Now they get Kansas. And this is where we find out, are they just having a great season, or is this the best team San Diego State has ever had in women's basketball? Because right now, they look like a team that's not ready to be done. It's been a packed week across the board for San Diego State athletics, highlighted by a historic run for the women's basketball team, while baseball and softball showed flashes, but also some inconsistency. But the biggest headline, Aztec women's basketball is rolling in the postseason. This team is officially one of their better teams in program history. They knocked off Irvine 61-55 in a thriller, and they followed up with a dominant 56-41 win over McNeese.
Yeah, it was a great game. First from UC Irvine, 12 lead changes, 9 ties, close on an 8-0 run. Naomi Pangiaban, hopefully, 22 points, perfect from the free throw line, then followed up again by that game against McNeese, held McNeese to 27% shooting, forced 15 turnovers, and they had balanced scoring across the board. And again, as you had mentioned, 25 for 25 from the free throw line. That is huge in the women's, the WBIT.
WBIT, which is different than the WNIT, if you will. But yeah, that's I don't care what tournament you're in.
That's impressive.
Yeah, but 2 games so far, 25 for 25 from the free throw line. That's going to win you basketball games night in and night out. 27 wins on the season, high school record, first postseason win since 2013. They're now headed to face the number 2 seed Kansas Jayhawks women's basketball team in the WBIT. This team winning with defense, the discipline, and the clutch execution in this particular tournament. Let's go to the Diamond, where baseball had left some opportunities on the table. It's been a frustrating stretch for Aztecs baseball. They lost 7-4 to the 13th ranked USC Trojans despite out-hitting them. They left 10 runners on base. They had an extra inning loss to San Jose State over the weekend, and then they had split results in a doubleheader. They beat UConn and then lost a tight one to San Jose State. Theme of the week, they're creating chances, but they're not finishing right now.
Yeah, no, unfortunately not. And again, that's that outing against USC in the middle of the week, leaving 10 runners on base. That is a lot, and that's something we've spoken a lot about when it comes to Aztec baseball, is they're getting hits, but they're not getting the timely hits that you need in order to capitalize on those mistakes, especially against the number 13 team in the country. That would have been huge. And then losing both games to San Jose State while taking one against UConn. It's a very up and down week, mostly down, unfortunately, for the Aztec baseball program.
Let's go to softball. High drama and some big swings for the softball team. They had one of the wildest weekends you will see. They dropped first 2 games to UNLV Rebel softball. Then they responded with a 13-7 comeback win. 8 runs in the 7th inning with 2 outs. Huge swings from Jade Ignacio and Jasmine Williams. Team showed resilience, offensive firepower, and ability to explode late. I don't care what sport you're playing. I don't care what level of baseball or softball you're playing. You put up 8 runs in the final inning with 2 outs. That's a pretty impressive deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And also to salvage the final game of the weekend series against UNLV, there's a huge aspect as well to it. And that late in the game, very, very good on them for that.
As far as women's basketball is concerned, again, as we mentioned before, they now get Kansas. And if they bring the same defensive identity and intensity and composure, they have a real shot to really shock some people in this game against Kansas in the WBIT. But here's what's coming up next. Women's basketball at Kansas in the WBIT semifinal. Baseball looks to clean up their execution, and softball heads to New Mexico after momentum-building comeback. But that's your update on San Diego State Aztec athletics as we get to the spring season. Basketball, women's basketball doing a really good job. But again, last basketball team standing in town.
Broadcasting live from Baja Ricks downtown, as our coverage today is brought to you by Blue Moon. There's no better way to celebrate opening day than with a beer brewed with Valencia orange peel. Grab a Blue Moon and ring in baseball season the right way. 2026 Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. Hope you guys are all out here having a good time, enjoying some Santo Tequila. Got a lot of that today. You can go check out our Santo Tequila booth over there. They're handing out some cool stuff and some samples of tequila. Premium pours from Santo Tequila, additive-free, unapologetically bold, founded by Sammy Hagar and Guy Fieri. Thanks again for coming out today at Baja Ricks. If you are still heading your way down, we're going to be here until just past noon as we got more things that we got to give away. We're giving away an autographed Nick Castellanos baseball. We're going to be giving away some tickets to Padres and Giants on Monday. So still a lot of great giveaways here at Baja Ricks. If you haven't done so already, sign up with our promo team. That's your opportunity to win. I also have some Braden Surprenant show shirts that I've been handing out. Saw our guy Prolific today. He was out here. He's out in full force. Alex over here gave him a shirt. What do we got on Nikki P wearing a West Virginia Geno Smith jersey to a Padres opening day? What a pull. What a find.
Thrift store find, too.
Unapologetically Nikki P with the Geno Smith West Virginia jersey. That's incredible. That's top notch. He does have he at softball. He likes to wear the little hand warmer.
Yeah,
he's got the hand warmer going, all different colors. I think he got a big red West Kentucky sliding pad too that he pulls out. Unapologetically, Nikki P.
Love that.
Yeah, unapologetically, Nikki P. The sizes for the Braden Surprenant show shirts I only got XXL. I got one large left, and I don't have a 3X. I'm out of the 3X. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it. We got a lot to get to still. Now, let's talk about the other news, okay? So, A.J. Preller right now is talking with the media. He is at Petco, but he's inside Petco Park. We're getting the sound from Sam Levitt. We're going to have some sound from A.J. Preller talking about the decision to put Darvish on the restricted list, what kind of money it potentially frees up, how they're using that money to potentially add to this roster. We'll talk about that in the next segment. But the news we got yesterday, now this was kind of, and here's the deal with the ownership news stuff. Potential bidders for the new ownership group for the Padres. Very significant, a lot of things that came out about this that I think impacts the Padres in the long term. And I think a lot of people got hung up on the mystery man's team that he currently owns and how successful they're on the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start to break it down, it's not like he hasn't spent money. He went out and spent a lot of money on players that were part of the Pistons. He bought his team out of bad contracts. He bought his team out of bad coaching hires as well. But we finally got the last mystery name for the bidders. So all four bidders have now been confirmed for the new ownership of the Padres. And the last one is Tom Gores. He's the owner of the Detroit Pistons, founder of Platinum Equity, newly confirmed entrant. And a couple of things. I think a lot of people are like, oh, the Pistons have not been great since 2010 when he bought the team. The guy's worth $10 billion. He spends a lot of money. It just didn't have seen the results too much with the Pistons. But I do find it intriguing. There was a couple of things in this article in The Athletic that I found intriguing. One is about the future of the Padres when it comes to a TV contract and what Major League Baseball is doing. And it is explaining why the Padres are so valuable right now as a franchise and why it's going to be a one-off. But the other one too, you know what? I don't want to speculate, but I do find it interesting that Tom Gores owns 27% of the Chargers, and he just bought 27% of the Chargers in 2024. I find that to be very significant. I find that to be interesting. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a coincidence. But you got a guy who lives in Beverly Hills now, who's originally from Michigan, that owns the Detroit Pistons. He just bought 27% of the Chargers in 2024 from the Spanos family, and now he wants to buy the Padres. Now, if you're looking from a pessimistic side of things, you're like, oh, he's just going to – we can't be affiliated with the Spanos family in L.A. What are you going to do, move him to SoFi? There's already two teams up there. It's not like he's moving the team. What's the rule in the NFL, too, when you own an NFL team? If you own other teams, where do you have to have those teams? In the city that you own them, right? Mm-hmm. So I find it to be interesting. I found that part to be a little eyebrow-raising, if you will. I'm not saying it means anything more than that. I find it interesting, Frank, that somebody that just bought 27% of the Chargers, who lives in California, is one of the bidders for the San Diego Padres.
He's a toy collector. That's really what it is. That's all it says to me is he's a toy collector. He wants to have a little bit of everything. He's already got an NBA team. He's got a football team. Now he's looking to get into Major League Baseball, and he's the head of this group that is going to be purchasing. So it is interesting that he is a Chargers owner. It also goes to show that he wants to be in Southern California. It's just another Southern California team under his belt after going out to own the Pistons. So it is definitely an interesting hire. An interesting bidder. Not sure he's going to be the one to get it though, but I wouldn't be. It is definitely interesting.
Just talking hype. I find it interesting, right? I mean, you got
of course,
potentially new development down in Chula Vista that has now increased its stadium capacity from what was going to be like 45,000 up to 80,000 seats. And again, it's a lot of legal talk and maybe a lot of promises to try to get things passed. But I find that part to be interesting. And then you got a guy like, let's just say, when teams go on for sale, like, he already owns part of the Chargers. What's stopping him from maybe buying more of the Chargers the Spanos family wants out? He's already in. He's already been approved, right? Yep. He's already down here. If he potentially owns the San Diego Padres could, again, the fan base showing how popular San Diego is for sports. They could see how the value is. And I'm just the guy asking questions, Frank. I'm just the guy asking questions.
You do that
a local San Diegan asking questions about somebody that partly owns the Chargers trying to buy the Padres. I'm just asking questions. I find it interesting. I do find it interesting. I like it. And right now, I like all 4 potential candidates to buy the team. All 4 bidders have a lot of pros. Some of them have a little bit of cons, but most of the cons to the bidders of these for the Padres, you could quickly wipe away with they're not moving the team. We already know that, right? They're not going to move the team. But the other thing that I found was interesting about the Padres in this article in The Athletic about the bidders was the fact about why this team is so valuable and why it's not going to set the market. In the article, they go out to say why the Padres selling for maybe $3.5 billion. Now, remember that was like $2.5 billion, and it's like, well, maybe they get north of $3 billion, and now it's getting up to $3.5 billion. And the breakdown of it was being in Southern California, there's not going to be a lot of teams in California in Major League Baseball up for sale. It's the investment that the previous ownership has put into the team, which has led to the investment from the fans. But the other thing that was interesting was the value of the Padres being high because of the situation of the collective bargaining agreement coming up, where their toughest competition in the Los Angeles Dodgers with the salary cap could have to start cutting from their team, which is interesting. And the other thing that they talked about with the CBA was the television contracts. And the television contracts getting all controlled into one, and then teams getting even split. And they said they could potentially get hundreds of millions of dollars in TV revenue, not for all of them to split, hundreds of millions of dollars in TV revenue each, which I know they're not getting right now. So you could potentially have an organization that you would just, that we just would have bought that's going to get an influx of money because of television, based on Major League Baseball's negotiations, on top of the fact you have the energy to go compete. Oh, and the only team that's really outdoing you right now in spending is the team that's got unlimited resources that's going to now have a potential cap to spending money on the free. This is why the Padres are so valuable. This is why the Padres bidding is getting so high. This is why the Padres have 4 bidders going this high, and teams like the Twins and the Nationals and the Angels pulled their team off the market.
And I think that's also part of the reason why is what you got, and we've discussed this before, but the fact that this team is so competitive, that they are as competitive as they are. You don't get competitive teams going up for sale all that often. This is a very extreme circumstance that has happened that have gotten the Padres that have forced their hand to sell. So, I mean, it is a very, very interesting thing that has come up here for them, and I would not be surprised at all if they sold at a high level.
The other thing, too, about this particular sell, if the Padres are not the prime example of why you should buy free agents and spend money, I don't know what is, because the value of remember everybody's saying like, oh, the Padres can't keep doing this. They can't keep doing this. They're a small market team. They can't keep spending money. Well, the Seiler family spent a ton of money, and guess what they're going to do? They're going to cash in.
Yep.
Do you know how much money they bought the Padres for?
No, I do not.
$800 million. They are going to sell the Padres probably anywhere between $3.5 billion plus. Now, they do have some debt that they got to take care of, but you take that off the top with some of the debt that they have, and that is a massive, massive profit for the ownership party of this team. And it shows that we spent the money, we improved this organization, we got the great talent here, we have the fans in the seats, and now they're reaping the benefits of it. And to anybody else that owns a team that doesn't want to spend money, you can make so much more money on your team when you make it the place to be in town, when you have the amount of the players that they have, and when you invest in your fan base. and they're going to reap the benefits of this.
Yeah, and it's showing that you don't have to be as crazy at spending money as you possibly can, but you need to make everything around it. I mean, this was not here when Petco Park started, when Petco Park was built. So if you make your ballpark the place to be, you start investing in your team. It's not about the ability to do it. You've seen it here. You can do it. It's about your willingness to do it. And how much are you willing to put back into the team and into the community? And some owners just have not been as willing as the Seidlers have been over the last couple of years to do so.
And here's the deal. Like, when I look at what this organization has grown into with the building of Petco Park. Now, a lot of that was because they went to the World Series in 1998. That was a big reason why passed, why they could build the stadium. They were trying to get it built in time so Tony could play in it. You know, everybody wanted to get their own legal mumbo jumbo in there to try to, set it back, win their lawsuits, fight the stadium. Cost Tony Gwynn an opportunity to play in this ballpark, may I add. But when they built this ballpark, I'm going to tell you right now, there ain't nothing down here, right?
No.
Absolutely nothing down here. They had the gas lamp. Nobody's going down to the gas lamp. I mean, my dad at the time had his office in East Village. There was nothing to do in East Village. It was not a place you wanted to walk, at night. And they resurrected this entire area with the stadium. But then on top of that, as a kid growing up in San Diego, I've brought this up multiple times. I went to Catholic school, so we had, uniforms and stuff like that. But you would have Jersey Day.
Yep.
Right? On Catholic Schools Week, you'd have Jersey Day. Never, ever, ever were there any Padre jerseys. Like, ever. Growing up. Nobody, there was like a small, minute part of the student population that was wearing Padre stuff. They were wearing Charger stuff. This was a football town for a long time. They left. I think it was the perfect scenario for the Padres. I think the Padres have cashed in. And then look at us here on opening day.
Yeah. But
not only just opening day, this is like this every day down here now.
Mm-hmm.
It's before it was like, hey, opening day, it's great. It's playoff atmosphere. Awesome. And then Tony Gwynn opening day the next day, it's like, there's like 25 people here. People got to go to work, and it's cold. Playing the Rockies, not really that interested in it. But now every day at Petco Park feels like opening day. Every day down here feels like a playoff game, and that's because the Seidler family paid money for big stars, brought the energy. Eric Grupner and company made Petco Park the best ballpark best ballpark in America. And here's the thing. Yes, they inherited, they bought the ballpark, or at least the part of the shares that they had with this ownership group when they bought the Padres from John Moores. But they could have done what the Spanos family did and ran Qualcomm into the ground because they didn't want to spend any money. But the Padres continue to invest in this ballpark, and they try to make it the best every single year. And that's why everybody in baseball wants to come to games here. That's why we sell out every single game. It's so much of the place to be, the stars that are here, the excitement, the energy. That's why this team is so valuable, and why the Nationals pulled off. They couldn't sell, why the Orioles took forever to sell and didn't sell for a high price, and why the Angels and Artie Moreno have pulled their team off the market multiple times. So I like all four of the bidders, and we know them all now. Tom Gores, Joe Lacob, Dan Friedkin, Jose Feliciano, all of those guys I think are going to be people that are going to invest in this team even more, because they're coming in and buying a team that has everything already built in, has one of the best fan bases in Major League Baseball, has one of the best teams in Major League Baseball. And that's why I think that's going to continue to grow with this team. And you mix in the TV contract part of this article, and you mix in the fact that, they might be putting in a salary cap and everything. I'm going to tell you right now, I read that article yesterday, and I got excited about this particular bidder. I got excited about all three other bidders that have already put a bid in. Sounds like the last round of bidding will be sometime in April. And I got excited about the future of the Padres with all of these things. So I think that's very interesting information to put out there. I know a lot of people driving around needed to know some of that stuff. So when we come back, the other news that we talked about it a little bit with you, Darvish, and being on the restricted list. AJ Preller met with the media. We're going to hear from AJ why Yu Darvish was put on the restricted list and what kind of finances it frees up for the Padres now that they're not paying for Yu Darvish in 2026. We'll talk about that. We'll hear from AJ Preller when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, live at Baja Rick's on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
UCSD baseball just made a statement, and people should start paying attention. The Tritons took 2 of 3 from UC Riverside, dropped 12 runs on Friday, 14 on Sunday, and showed this offense can explode at any moment. Oh, and head coach Eric Newman just became the winningest coach in program history. That's not just a milestone. That's a program leveling up. But here's the real question. Are they actually contenders right now in the Big West? Because the offense is there, no doubt about it. The concern, though, defense, pitching consistency, and closing games clean. Kind of a very familiar. San Diego FC might have just got a reality check, and it came fast. After that incredible win over Toluca in the first leg, it looked like San Diego might make a serious run in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. But in Mexico, a completely different story. Toluca dominated San Diego 4-0, outshooting them 27-3 and ending their tournament run just like that. And the struggles didn't stop there. Back in MLS play, San Diego gave up another late lead in a 2-2 draw against Real Salt Lake. And that's now back-to-back games where they couldn't close it out. The offense is still there. The talent is obvious. But defensively, discipline, focus, and finishing games are becoming real concerns. For an expansion team, this is part of the process. But if San Diego wants to be a top club, these are the games they have to start winning. So now the question is this just a bump in the road or the start of a bigger problem? From a historic night to really a reality check, it's been a tough stretch for San Diego FC in this beginning part of the season. And the momentum from the dramatic Champions Cup win didn't carry over. In the CONCACAF Champions Cup, San Diego's run came to a hard stop with a 4-0 loss to Toluca in the second leg in Mexico. Despite winning the first leg 3-2, SDFC was overwhelmed. Toluca outshot them 27-3, dominating possession and control throughout the match. Goals from Jesus Ricardo Angulo, Paulinho, and Jesus Gallardo sealed the result, sending Toluca through on aggregate. For San Diego, it was a reminder of the gap that can still exist between the MLS side and the top Liga MX competition, especially on the road. So leg 2, Frank, a little bit more coming back down to earth.
Yeah, and this is what we more or less expected. We didn't expect them to get completely dominated, but as we were saying on the show last week, after this happened, this was Toluca making sure that they, one, did not make the same mistake that Pumas made from a couple of weeks prior by going into Mexico. They still won, but didn't win by enough to be able to advance, but also not making the mistake that they had made the week prior and losing to a San Diego FC side that was riding high on a lot of momentum and positive forward movement. Toluca really shut that down quickly.
Back to the MLS side of things. So after that loss to Toluca, again, reset back to the normal schedule of the MLS. Problems didn't really go away. San Diego settled for a 2-2 draw with Real Salt Lake, making their second straight draw and third consecutive match without a win. And once again, it was a late collapse.
Yeah, San Diego led 2-1 after a late goal from Anders Dreyer, but conceded in the 85th minute when Victor Olantunji found the equalizer, and things unraveled further from there. Defender Christopher McVeigh was sent off, leaving San Diego down a man, unable to push for the winner. And this now marks back-to-back games where San Diego FC has given up late goals, including a stoppage time equalizer in Dallas last weekend. So it has been very, very tough. We're seeing a lot of fouls being committed. We've had, 4 red cards in the last 3 matches for San Diego FC as well in all competitions. So it has been a very, very rough patch for San Diego FC after getting off to such a hot start that they did, not just in the league, but in CONCACAF as well.
Yeah, this week exposed something important. San Diego FC is exciting, but not yet complete. The attack continues to produce. Players like Dreyer, Marcus Invarksen are consistently creating chances, but defensively, the cracks are showing. Late game focus is slipping. Discipline is becoming an issue. Multiple red cards in recent matches, as Frank was mentioning, and the team is struggling to close out games. And head coach Mike Ibarra said it best: if you want to be a top club, you have to handle the grind. And right now, San Diego is learning that lesson in real time.
Yeah, and it has truly been a grind. I mean, we brought it up a couple of updates ago. They're playing 5 games in 16 days, so they're playing a lot of football right now. But San Diego, you got to find a way to overcome that, because you're not the only one doing it. Every other team in the world has a stretch where they're playing a lot of games over a short amount of time, and they did. If you watch that game, especially towards the end, they look whooped against Real Salt Lake. They look tired. They looked worn out. So that might be one of the bigger concerns, is that a team that you're not really used to seeing being gassed looked very gassed on Sunday.
Well, they've been playing 2 games a week for the last couple of weeks. So that's obviously a big reason why they are gassed. But now here's the good news. Looking ahead, a reset is coming. San Diego heads into the international break, sitting 4th in the Western Conference with 11 points, still very much in a strong position early in the season, and they don't play until a road match against the San Jose Earthquakes on April 4th. I mean, they got a little bit of time now to kind of relax a little bit and get the bodies right before they make another push. So the reset comes at a really important time for San Diego FC. Couldn't come at a better time for the break. A chance to regroup, a chance to clean up defensive issues, and a chance to reset mentally.
Us at 2:00 every day. Sam Levitt does the Ecowater SoCal Padres pregame show and the Padres postgame show. Each and every day there's a game. So stay tuned to 97.3 The Fan. We got Padres baseball for you at all times. You can also watch us on YouTube. We're broadcasting live on YouTube right now. So for everybody else that hasn't been able to head down, they haven't been cleared to get off work yet as they make their way down to opening day. So we've been broadcasting live on YouTube throughout the day. All of our shows are on YouTube. All of our shows you can find in podcast form. If you haven't done so already, you can follow me on social media at @B_SURP, at @BSURP. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are broadcasting live on my YouTube page as well. YouTube.com/@B_SURP. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're very close, so it's free to do. It doesn't take a lot of effort. Plus, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, if you just jump on YouTube, all our stuff's right there, ready to go. It's super easy. We post a lot of additional content that we don't have time to get to on the show. So YouTube.com/@B_SURP. We got tons of coverage in town, again, that we don't have time to do on the actual radio. So wherever you get your podcasts, we also are there. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, all of that. You can hear us in podcast form. I just had a buddy reach out to me. He's like, hey, sometimes I don't have time to listen to your show and I don't want to watch because I got to do a lot of driving. Are you in podcast form? I'm like, yes, absolutely. Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff, wherever you get your podcasts. Search the Braden Surprenant Show. You will find all of our shows. And Frank does a really, really good job of getting that stuff up early. So at the conclusion of most of our hours, I mean, you're only about an hour behind on the actual live radio. So we're locked in on that. Again, follow us, subscribe. We really appreciate it. Still trying to grow the show. I do have some T-shirts that I need to get rid of, too, at some point in time. Braden Surprenant Show shirts. So if you want one, let me know. We'll give those away as well. We're gonna hear from AJ Preller in just a second, but since we only got one game going on right now, and it happens to be Frank's Mets, his childhood team, aside from the Padres, because he loves the Padres.
It's slightly distracted.
What's our Mets update? The only other game going on right now.
Only Brandon Lau, I believe, whichever one's on the Pirates. He's got the 2-run home run in the first inning. He also hit a solo home run in the third. Mets are threatening right now. No out, bottom of the 4th inning. 5-3 the score. Again, the big news, though, coming out of this game is that Paul Skeens out of the game after 1 inning. Not even one inning. Two-thirds of an inning with 5 runs allowed, 4 hits. So it was a rough day for Paul Skeens to start off.
Our banner's trying to hold up right now. Our starting pitcher on the banner's trying to hold up, protect the floodgates from blowing us down. Mets up 5-3 on the Pirates, as mentioned before. You mentioned Paul Skeens out of the game, 2/3 of an inning, 5 earned runs on 4 hits, only one strikeout today for Skeens. He did not have his stuff today for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Last night, Logan Webb also did not have his stuff for the San Francisco Giants. The Aces, man, have not been off to great starts, especially if they pitch for Team USA. That might be good news for the Padres against Tarek Skubal today.
Yeah, it just might be. Bottom of the second inning right now. White Sox leading the Brewers 1-0. White Sox got to run the first inning. Also, bottom second, Nats leading the Cubbies 1-0 at Wrigley Field.
Stop the count, Nationals.
And the White Sox.
And the White Sox. Nationals and White. You know what? That's the best part about opening day. Teams like the Nats and the White Sox are fired up for the season right now. Things are turning.
Yes.
White Sox, better watch out. AL Central, the division nobody watches on Wednesdays in the middle of the afternoon.
Twins and Orioles starting up, too. They should be getting on first pitch about 15, 20 minutes from now.
What do we got on Tyler? Tyler O'Neill hitting a home run today, yes or no?
No.
Tyler O'Neill's not hitting a home run today?
What's the lineup? Where's he hitting?
Oh, that's a good question. If Tyler O'Neill hits a home run in the first inning, I might lose my mind.
Could we, just for good luck for the Orioles, Kyle, could you give us a Hey Birdland on there?
Birdland. Does Kyle know how to do that?
Kyle, it should be on our
no
hotkey page.
Put him. He's looking. He's looking through glasses right now. I will say this: he's batting seventh.
Oh, he's batting seventh.
Seventh. So he might be a little bit later in the game where Tyler O'Neill tries to hit a home run. There it is. Do it one more time, Kyle.
Hey, Birdland.
There it is. Hey, Birdland. Boston guy managing the O's. Where's Nick DiNucci at? Is he fired up for the Orioles today? So we got some games going on right now. Again, it is the Nationals up 1-0 on the Chicago Cubs. The Chicago White Sox up 1-0 to the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Mets are up 5-3 on the Pirates in the bottom of the fourth. Orioles and Twins will start up in about 15 or 20 minutes. Red Sox and Reds will be at the same time as us at 1:10, with the Angels playing the Astros. Rays play the Cardinals at 1:15. Rangers and Phillies at 1:15. And then tonight in L.A., you got Diamondbacks and Dodgers at 5:30. And then the nightcap is the Guardians and the Mariners at 7:10. Not everybody in action today.
No.
I think that's, I understand why Major League Baseball does it because of potential rainouts and what have. But I think opening day, the opening night last night was okay, right?
I thought the broadcast was fine. I saw a lot of people giving the broadcast flack. I didn't mind it.
Some people in our YouTube chat said the broadcast wasn't very good last night for Giants and Yankees. Of course, there were the goober, non-serious moments, but other than that, I didn't need to see Bert Kreischer out there for a full inning. They had Bert Kreischer out in McCovey Cove for a full inning. They had Rob Manfred in the booth for the shortest inning of the game. I don't need the gimmicks.
It's like, what do you mean? I don't
need the gimmicks, man. Just like, we'll just say how it is, okay?
But like I said, I did like the booth where you had Matt Vasgersian, the pro.
I love Matty
which
Padres fans love Matt Vasgersian, man.
Yes, and Netflix kept cutting him off last night. That was absurd.
You know what? Let Matty V drop the Santa Maria, dude. Let him do his thing. That's more entertaining than any having a hand bring the first pitch out.
But I did enjoy the dynamic of you have the one Giant and the one Yankee in the booth. I enjoyed that.
Are we on? I'm sure the Padres are on Netflix at some point in time.
I don't know. I haven't paid that much.
They sent the broadcast schedule out last night. We haven't gotten to the schedule yet. We'll get to that in a second, but I do want to get some of this AJ Preller sound for you as well. We are broadcasting live at Baja Rick's down here in the gas lamp. It's brought to you by Blue Moon. There's no better way to celebrate opening day than with a beer brewed with a Valencia orange peel. Grab a Blue Moon and ring in the baseball season the right way. 2026 Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. We have our little mini studio, our mini Bill Howe studio here. We know how. And all of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking. It's better.
Our Bill Howe lean-to at this point.
I don't think that guy's jersey over there is a White Sox Fernando Tatis Jr. jersey, but if it is, that's hilarious.
That would be
an incredible pull. Do you ever do that? Me and my buddies do that sometimes. You go to a ball game and you try to find the most obscure jersey out there at the game.
God, yes.
I think there's different categories that you can win. Most obscure Padres jersey. That's definitely a prize every game.
No, it's a Padres jersey.
And then you do most obscure jersey for that game. Like I've seen some crazy. I saw a Kenta Maeda Twins jersey earlier today.
Wow.
That's in the lead right now for most obscure jersey.
Yeah, that is a pull out of the back of the closet for sure.
I know there's going to be at least one person today wearing a Corey Lupe giveaway jersey. I know at least one person's going to be the blue one with the SD on the chest. One person's got to have that on today. I guarantee it. I don't really have a Padres jersey. I got this one time. Finds it in his closet. How about Nicky P with the Geno Smith West Virginia jersey today? That is the most obscure jersey of the day.
A literal thrift store find.
Nicky P woke up this morning and said, I'm going to put this on.
I'm going to Padres Tigers opening day. What is the most relevant thing I can find? Yes, a West Virginia Geno
Smith jersey. That's what I'm going with. So let's get to, because there's a couple of things that need to happen. We're finishing up here. When we sign off at about 12:05, we're going to be giving away the tickets to the people here at Baja Ricks who have signed up. We got 2 tickets to give away to Monday's game against the San Francisco Giants. We're going to do that when we sign off. We also have a bunch of other things that we have to get to still, but we do want to hear from AJ Preller, who met with the media earlier today to talk about Yu Darvish and why the Padres put him on the restricted list. Here's AJ Preller earlier today from Petco Park.
Yeah, so we placed you on the restricted list. I think, again, like we've had a lot of conversation with Darvish throughout the whole offseason, and he's been very straight up from throughout the offseason after the surgeries. Just ultimately, he's not really in a place where the ability to work at the level that he wants to work at, and he's accustomed to working at. He wants to kind of do it on his pace. Obviously he's had an incredible, it's an incredible run, throughout in Japan, here in the States, MLB. And for him, I think just a lot of respect for what he's looking to do. I think he's been very clear that if he can't, do things at the level from a preparation standpoint, a work standpoint, that he's used to doing, he wants to make sure that he's not, he's giving back to the team, and the fan base and everything like that. So, he's a very unique player. We worked with the union with Major League Baseball. But from his standpoint, the restricted list is where you place players that they're not looking to come every single day to the ballpark and go from there. He's leaving open what it means and what it means for the future. But, I think for him, it's an opportunity to rehab at his own pace, do things at his own pace, spend time with his family, which is very important to him. And we'll see where it leads us down the road.
That's AJ Preller talking with the media before today's game. You got to let Yu Darvish be able to do what Yu Darvish wants to do, where he feels comfortable. I think he's earned that right. So this is obviously a long, ongoing conversation between AJ Preller and Yu Darvish. They found an agreement. They found what they wanted to do, right? And now he's on the restricted list. It saves the Padres money, and Yu Darvish can then rehab and still try to continue a career if he wants to do that.
Yeah, because we heard back in December that those two were working on something, and whether or not they were going to get something done was still up in the air of what that deal would look like. But, great for them to finally come to some sort of agreement to help this team out and get what they needed done going into this season.
Now, the other thing that he talked about was with putting Yu Darvish on the restricted list, obviously the finances changed a little bit. So for the Padres, when you put a player on the restricted list, he does not get paid. So that's usually when and again, the fact that Yu Darvish is even on the restricted list and MLB approved it is very interesting because that's usually for ongoing investigations for players that have other things off the field that are going on, right? So that's usually the restricted list. Yu Darvish is using it as an opportunity to, I'm going to rehab, but I'm not going to cost the organization money, which I think is valiant in this day and age of professional sports. So by not doing so, by not collecting a check, that frees up some money, or does it? It was reported last night from Kevin Acee that the Padres already knew that was going to be the case. They could have already spent that money, but they asked AJ Preller about it today, about what kind of the finances get freed up with Yu Darvish being on the restricted list. Here's what AJ Preller said.
So again, like from get into like the from the accounting standpoint for the restricted players, ultimately, he's not getting paid a salary. The CBT ramifications and what that looks like. I think that's a conversation for us and more so for the commissioner's office to kind of tell us where that goes.
What is your understanding of how long this could last? There's no set number of days. It has to be restricted. How long will it go? He's not going to pitch this year, so could it be all year?
Yeah, I think again, we'll handle that when it comes up. But I think the conversations that he's been clear about is, he knows he's going to miss the year anyway with an injury situation. But for him, I think he's been clear that, for this year, he doesn't think this is something that I don't think this is going to change for the 26 season. I think what the conversations have been and where we're at with it is when we get to the end of the season, we'll reevaluate at that point in time. But you've been clear, that for this year, he doesn't see it as something where he's coming in every single day. He's doing, like the rehab protocol, the way he's done in the past. He wants to be able to spend time with the family. He wants to be able to do some things on his own, and that'll be for the 26th season. When we get done with the year, we'll see what that means for next year.
Does it change anything for you in terms of player acquisition and what you can do financially?
No, I mean, again, this is something that we've been planning for and working towards throughout the whole off season. So, it's not a surprise. I think ultimately, just kind of figuring out exactly what he wanted to do, what list was the right list to put him on, getting the right people involved to do that. That was really what the last, 6-8 weeks was about. But in terms of like the planning part of it, doesn't really change anything from our.
He can't come here at all, right? While he's on the restricted list, he can't use any team facilities.
He's going to be able to come to Petco and use and participate, and it's an understanding for him to, do rehab work and but again, it's not going to be what we're used to seeing from you, Darvish, or from other players that are here, through game time, up until game time, post game work. It's going to be more on his schedule and what works. And my guess is he's not going to be around. He's not going to be around like he has been in the past. So that's the idea with him being on the restricted list.
Your understanding is he's going to continue to rehab, see how he feels in 27.
Yeah, he's going to continue to rehab, and then again, the understanding that myself and you and the team will revisit it. So he's not saying no. He's not saying that he's retiring. That's not where we're at. But I think for him, he's going to see how he comes back. He's coming back from a major surgery and a second surgery on the elbow. So I think he's realistic about where that leaves him. But Darvish is a very special person, very special player. He's very unique. The situation's unique. Somebody that's, thinking about the good of the organization, the team, the fan base, wanting to give back. If you can't put your heart into it, it would be very easy for him just to say, you know what, I'm going to sit on the IL and what that means for him from a compensation standpoint. He's not doing that. He knows that his heart's not quite into it, but he's going to continue with the rehab process, and maybe we get to next year and he's feeling in a different place and he wants to come back and give it a.
So that's AJ Preller talking about you, Darvish. Obviously, the situation is very interesting. It's very unique for you, but what you, Darvish, has done for this organization in so many different ways has been so great. And I think, again, we've mentioned this multiple times, but whatever he wants to do, I think he has earned the right to be able to do that because of the fact that he has, he had to take time away for a personal matter a couple of years ago. People got upset about that. It's like, why are you upset? He's not even getting paid.
Yeah.
He's actually doing you guys a favor. He's not getting paid at all. So from that perspective, I think you, Darvish, and what he does for this organization and what I think he's going to continue to do for this organization in the future when his playing days might be over, you want to keep those relationships with these players. I mean, you, Darvish, is the guy that bought a house in town. He is here in San Diego. I think, his son plays baseball at Cathedral Catholic. His son is committed to play at UCSD. I mean, this is going to be a place where you, Darvish, and his family probably want to live, and that's something that you got to really embrace. And if the guy needs some time and he's going to sacrifice this year's contract to stay with the organization in some capacity, very admirable. And it'd be nice to have more guys like you out there.
Yeah, he's a San Diegan now. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. He is a San Diegan. He's ingrained himself in the community, and he's trying to do his best to help this organization do what it needs to do in order to be competitive on a year in and year out basis. And if that means sacrificing his own salary, that is exactly what he's going to do. He's done it before, and I would not be surprised if it comes down to it, he'll be willing to do it again. Hopefully not, but he has shown that selfless side of him that we've seen many, many times is there.
Yeah, and in our YouTube chat for the people that are commenting in the YouTube chat that are watching us on YouTube, whether it be on the 97 Through the Fan YouTube page or my own, SD Mike said it there. How many players would give up their salary for 2 seasons for the good of the team? Can't think of many examples. All right, Frank and I are going to give our little quick breakdown of this game coming up when we come back from our station identification. Top of the hour, we got a couple minutes left. You're listening to the Braden Surprenant Show on 97.3 The Fan, San Diego's #1 sports station.
KWFN and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
Hey, it's Chris Ello from Gwynn and Chris. Play some trivia with me weekdays, 4 o'clock, and try to win big prizes on Gwynn and Chris. Weekdays, 2 to 6 on 97.3 The Fan.
And Odyssey Sports Station.
He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We are broadcasting live from Baja Ricks down here in San Diego, getting ready for Padres opening day. We got a couple of minutes before we get ready to send it off to Sam Levitt in the Ecowater Padres pregame show, which means we're getting closer to first pitch and the 2026 San Diego Padres season. We can go through the lineup one more time, Frank, but leading off to maybe some surprise of some of our talk show hosts, not a surprise to me, Fernando Tatis Jr. will lead things off today for the San Diego Padres and play right field. Xander Bogaerts will bat second and play shortstop. Manny Machado batting third, plays third. Your top 3 due up for the Padres in the bottom half of their first inning after Nick Pivetta throws a scoreless first frame for the Padres.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a very fun and exciting game. I can't wait to get in. We're having problems on StreamYard, so for those of you who may or may not be hearing us, we apologize for that. But
bandwidth's getting taken up right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very fun day here at Petco Park. Just forget about being back at the ballpark for the first time to see baseball again. It is going to be so much fun, a great day, up and down for not just us, but for the fans as well.
Rest of the lineup today, again, we mentioned Fernando's leading off, playing right field. Xander Bogaerts batting second, plays shortstop, batting third today. Manny Machado plays third. Jackson Merrill in the cleanup spot will play center field. Miguel Andujar gets his first Padres start as the DH, batting fifth. Gavin Sheets bats sixth and plays first base. Ramon Laureano bats seventh and plays left field. Freddie Fermin is the catcher today. He bats eighth. Jake Cronenworth will bat ninth and play second base. I love Jake Cronenworth in the ninth spot. We talked about it to start the show today, but to me, Jake Cronenworth being that extra table setter for Fernando in the top of the lineup, I think that's going to pay dividends for Craig Stammen early in the season.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And we'll see how Craig changes the lineup around over the course of not just the next couple of days, but for today as well. We talked about it earlier in the show. There's a very good chance that we might see a pinch hit appearance from a guy like Nick Castellanos if the Padres need it late. They have a bunch of options on a very, very well retooled bench and a younger bench from what we've seen over the last couple of years. So there is plenty of reason. Of course, the pitching staff is going to be a question mark overall as far as their health and their ability to come back from injury. But there is plenty of reason to be excited about the 2026 San Diego Padres as their campaign kicks off in about an hour and 5 minutes.
If trends continue for Major League Baseball today, the Aces have not had great showings throughout Major League Baseball. It could be a high-scoring affair today between the Padres and the Tigers. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We're the Braden Surprenant Show. Signing off. Getting ready for Padres baseball. Sam Levitt, Ecowater SoCal Padres pregame show is up next. Talk to you guys tomorrow on 97.3 The Fan.
March hoops are here, and